What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys the 3 teams that I used in order to clear the 3 stages of the Neo Clash SABO. Now, before we get into this video, guys, I have to say this is probably the most difficult raid boss related content that we have had on Global thus far. This is extremely difficult, so do not be disheartened if you cannot beat it, especially the Cerebral one. The Cerebral one is very hard to beat. But remember, guys, these are just the teams that I used in order to beat it, so I know not everyone's going to have the exact same units as me, but hopefully you guys still enjoy the content. If you guys do, make sure to smack the like button down below. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first dungeon that we're going to be talking about is going to be the shooter related dungeon. So as you can see on screen, we are going ahead and using the brand new Magellan that I did end up pulling from the Blitz Battle Rewards, and I really wanted to test this guy out, and this was the perfect opportunity to do so. We're using this brand new legend. So let's go ahead and talk about this dungeon specifically. So all of the stages between 1 and 4 are essentially identical to the original raid boss SABO, so there are basically no differences there. There is one specific difference in a couple of them, and we'll go over them specifically when we get to those dungeons. But let's talk about the difference in the actual final boss of stage 5 against SABO. So SABO on the shooter version has 3.5 million health, and he'll attack you for 7,300 damage every turn. His preemptive attack will give himself a 10-hit combo barrier, and he'll half your chain multiplier for 98 turns, and then also randomly shuffle your orbs. Then after that first turn, he actually buffs his attack for 2 turns up to 11,000. And then the turn after that, he'll go ahead and enrage, and then he'll seal 2 units for 3 turns, and that can include your captains as well. And then the turn after that, he'll randomly convert your orbs, and then the turn after that, he's going to despair your captains for 3 turns, and he cycles through all those really bad abilities. Do not get him below 30% though, because if you do, he does 340,000 damage to your crew. So definitely don't do that. But some specific teams that I've seen work really well against this guy have been definitely a Stronghold Ace and a Legend Kizaru friend captain, or vice versa, or just running double Legend Kizaru. Kizaru just seems to be the best way in order to beat this guy as quick as possible, because Kizaru's special ability will actually completely destroy the 10-hit combo barrier that SABO puts up. And then obviously bringing someone that can get rid of that chain multiplier is also really good as well. So someone like Raid Hancock is going to be your best bet, as she will give you a 2.5 times chain lock, and you are able to take this guy out in about 1 to 2 turns with a Kizaru or Ace team. I definitely wanted to use Magellan though. Magellan actually clears it reasonably quickly, like a lot quicker than what I thought, because Magellan is actually boosted throughout this event. He gets 1.75 times stats, and he also gets 10 turns less cooldown. So Magellan is going to be very quick, as you don't actually need to stall, and the only specials you need on Magellan team is just Magellan himself. I have gone upon Usopp just for extra safety, and I use that on the turn that he goes ahead and enrages, but he's definitely not a needed character against the Neo Clash SABO. But this is basically the team that I used in order to beat it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys on the next stage against Neo Clash SABO. Next team that we are going to be talking about is going to be the Fighter Dungeon. So, with this specific one, on round number 1, you can see here, you get your health cut in half. So, using a Legend Jinbei is not going to be the best. And also another thing as well, you do get a, I believe it's a 1.2 times attack boost, and then a 1.3 times orb boost that is for 50 turns. So you really cannot go ahead and bring your own orb or type boost, unless if you have someone like the brand new Magellan batch, Bon Clay, whose special ability will remove all positive buffs on your crew, so you can use him and then use your own type and orb boost. So if you have the Bon Clay, you can clear this reasonably easily, I would say, but you still have to deal with the negative defects of SABO with the chain debuff and all of that kind of stuff. So one way to get rid of that chain debuff is to actually have either the brand new rare recruit Jinbei that just came out, the quick one, I believe he is, the secret rare recruit one. So if you have him, lucky you, because he is exceptional. And also the swimsuit Hancock is really, really good as well, because she's a fighter unit that locks 2.5 times chain, as well as that Jinbei as well. So he's really, really strong. And because you can't use your own type and orb boost, then bringing some conditional boosters, like I have Dalmatian on this specific in this specific circumstance, and he works really, really well. Also, you could go ahead and use a health cutter like the Coliseum Don Chin Jiao. You could go ahead and use someone that increases your chain multiplier, like adds more to the chain, so like Raid Kizaru would be really, really nice. And also the original SABO, as you can see on this team here as well. Now, this specific team that you guys are seeing, one thing that I did change a little bit later on from someone in the Discord that made a good point is I definitely needed a delayer on this team, so Rayleigh was my choice. However, the Nightmare Luffy is a much, much better choice. Because Nightmare Luffy does like nearly 250,000 damage to SABO on top of his delay, so he makes taking out SABO just a little bit more safer, because there was a time where I used this team and with Rayleigh, I hit one miss, I accidentally missed, and I lost basically because I didn't hit one more perfect while SABO special was active. So definitely I would recommend switching the Rayleigh out for Nightmare Luffy, making this team actually a little bit more free to play to use. The captain that I am using though is the Sai Jinbei, that is from the Magellan batch. He's literally the best fighter captain that I have. I did try this with 5+ Luffy, and then the Rayleigh sub, that really didn't work that great. You don't really get that much damage output because this Jinbei is actually boosted by 1.75 stats, so this specific Jinbei helped a lot, but double legend Jinbei is definitely the best bet if you do have that, because you can use one of the Jinbeis on stage 4 and then one of them on stage 5, and then that works out really, really well. But anyways, that's going to basically end it for this specific dungeon, and I'll see you guys on the last dungeon, the most difficult of the three, the Cerebral dungeon of Neo Clash SABO. And now we reach the final stage, which is going to be against the Cerebral version of the SABO Neo Clash boss. Now, one thing to say about this specific dungeon that makes it so difficult is obviously this first stage, because if you cannot clear this first stage, at least clearing out 3 or 4 of the characters, you're basically going to die. You can take at least 2 hits from the Cannoneers, but if you have to take a 3rd hit, you are probably not going to survive. But the biggest thing about this dungeon that makes it so difficult is the fact that you obviously have to stall with a Cerebral Team, which isn't really the easiest thing to do, because you have to rely on getting low health for damage, but you have to have high health to take hits. And the other thing is the fact that the final boss SABO will change all your orbs into either bother or negative orbs, and if you try and activate an orb boost, he's going to go ahead and activate all these random effects. He's going to then change your orbs back into either bother or negative orbs. Then he'll go ahead and seal your captains for 4 turns and despair your captains for 4 turns. So basically, activating an orb boost is not that great, so definitely don't bring an orb booster. But that's the thing, is the fact that all the best orb boosters for Cerebral are also the best orb manipulators, and you really need an orb manipulator. So you can't use Kuma and you can't use Legend Dofi, unfortunately. So those guys are out of the question. So the next best units to actually go ahead and bring that manipulate your orbs is going to be Halloween Sugar, as you're seeing on this team here. I use her multiple times throughout the run. She's exceptional. She changes all negative and block orbs into G orbs, and then you can lower the cooldowns of one of your characters. So she's really, really useful to have in this fight. Also, you can go ahead and use the brand new Magellan batch Ivankov, who changes block and negative orbs into matching for your Cerebral characters. I believe it might be for all characters. I don't remember exactly, but that Ivankov is so so good for this. Just a 1 unit that can give you all matching orbs, and that is so good. And then the next option is to use Sicilian and Wanda from the Inner Arashi batch. So that is also another good way. That does take up 2 slots on your crew, but Wanda is also a 1.75 times type booster. So if you do have Wanda and Sicilian, that might be the best bet for you guys to go ahead and try and use. With this team specifically, you want to make sure that you have a really high amount of health before reaching this last stage, because you do have to take 1 hit from one of these front guys. So if you can take one of these front hits from one of these guys, then that's completely fine. And if the penguin is at a low cooldown, you can kill the penguin and then kill the center guy, and then you'll leave that one of the guys with the combo shields active, and then you can take those guys out. And with this team specifically, I do a 2-turn burst, but what I do realize at a later date is the fact that you can actually go ahead and activate your Inner Arashi special on that first turn and just kill him in 1 turn. So, yeah, you don't actually have to do a 2-turn burst with this team. You can kill him in 1 turn, and that makes it a whole lot easier and a whole lot faster for your runs with this Cerebral team. But another unit that comes out tomorrow, actually, is the Race Shop Corazon. Now, he's actually a 2.5 times chain locker, who actually might be really useful. I might try it out when he comes out tomorrow. I'll definitely pick him up and max level him, and I'll try him out, and if he's good enough, I might upload a run or 2 of using this brand new Corazon, because he does seem really good. He lowers the cooldowns of all your characters, and also, you know, as I said before, 2.5 times chain lock, really strong. But that is going to just about end this video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did, make sure to smack the like button down below. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.
Walk away.